Time is money, and that's no more evident than when you're on a deadline to get a video finished for a client in a rush. This is when you need some help and inspiration from above, or well, from the web anyway. In this video, I'm going to show you the collection from Titles and Transitions FCP. For a one-time purchase of the pack, it's just $39 US, and for $16.50 per month, you can get unlimited downloads of millions of effects. Just click the link below. I'm Bruce Macbryde, and I can provide you personal training over the internet in Final Cut. Just click the link trainingfinalcutpro.com. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by so many choices you feel like all your Christmases have come at once? Then this is what you'll have from the Titles and Transitions Final Cut Pro pack. Click in the link below for detail. Amazingly, there are 600 animated titles in 16 categories. There's 300 transitions in 8 categories, and there's 150 extra effects. The mind boggles. In order to keep this tutorial to a reasonable length, I'm going to break it into 2 videos, one for the titles pack and the second for the transitions. But stay with each of the videos right to the end, because I'll be showing you how to work with all the different categories and the hidden tricks that will give you that full benefit. At the end of this first titles video, I'll show you how to modify the supplied background animations to suit your corporate clients. So this first video is focused on titles and effects. There are a multitude of different categories, and these are the numbers in each of those categories. And because of the sheer number of these titles, I'm pleased that each is numbered, so that as you review your edit and you want to check out a similar style, you'll be able to do a quick search for other titles that are shown close to that number. So we're looking at this number 46 title. If we were wanting to find some others that look like that, then we could select up here in our search and simply typing in 4, and then we'll see the other titles in that 4 category. So there's 40 through to 49, and these are similar titles to the one that you have in the timeline now. Once you've downloaded the pack from Titles and Transitions Final Cut Pro, you'll find that in your downloads folder there'll be a video tutorial that's part of the pack. And this will show you how to install the titles and transitions in your Motions template folder that's within your Movies folder. Check out the video tutorial if you need any help with the installation. So let's look at the different categories. First we'll look at the minimal titles. I picked 3 to put into the timeline, and I put them on one of the collection's backgrounds, so you get the effect of one of the backgrounds as well. The titles are adjusted in the inspector, and a number of the adjustments are common to all of the different titles. And you'll have build in and build out, and this is simply the start of the title. You can see you've got a build in there, and there's the build out. If we take off the build out and play the end of this, then you can see that it doesn't fade away. You can change the position on the screen of the title, and you can do this in a number of ways. You can move it with the position tabs here, or you can simply move it in the viewer itself. You can change the font, and you can change the colors and the style. And one of the interesting features of these titles is the ability to add this gradient overlay. So currently we have a white text on a green outline. But if we click the gradient overlay, then we can get a gradient between these 2 different colors. And I quite like that. It's something a little bit different. So these are the other 2 that I've picked from the minimal titles, just to give you some idea of what they do. Now let's have a look at the Kinetic Titles. I've again picked 3 to put them in the timeline. And the difference with these titles is that they are showing several ideas that are incorporated into one title effect. And they're more useful as an opener for a full video rather than the minimal title, which is best for the separate subjects of a video. These offer the best saving in time for me. They're great to be able to tell a short story. So let's have a look now at the corporate titles. These are useful for company related videos. And again, I've put 3 into the timeline here. And these can be used for just a single subject, or you could use one like this one here, which gives a little message all in the same video. Next are the rectangle titles, and these feature text that shows on a solid background. I put 3 into the timeline here just to give you an effect of what they look like. And as far as adjustments go in the inspector, they have a similar set of adjustments to what the other text has. There is an item that I should show you here, and this is the text mask, so that currently it's white on the solid background, but if you tick that one there, then you can see through that text to another background there. So if we just take that background out, then you can see that it's black on the solid or white on the solid. And also we have the logo titles. These allow you to add a logo to those titles, and there are various different styles, of course, and I've just put one here which I've modified to suit training Final Cut, and you can see with that one we've added the Final Cut logo in the drop zone, and we've added the text. You can change the position of the text. If I size that there, you can see you can center it to the position you want, and again with the Final Cut we can change the position that sits in the circle. Just a thing to note here that by default it will come in with a transparent logo. You need to make sure that that's ticked so that the logo is showing, because what the transparent logo does is it gives you a silhouette of the shape of the logo. And in this one here, in the logo position, I've added a photo so that you could put a headshot in there if you wanted to. I've jumped through the quote titles and the niche titles because they're self-explanatory, but I did want to spend some time on the longer titles because one of the ongoing issues I've found with adding text to Final Cut is that when you add large amounts of text to the standard titles, the text needs a return to be added in the inspector, otherwise the text runs over the edge. If I want this now to break up, I would need to put a return in here so that we can see that text line at the top, and I'm going to need to put another return in there, and so on and so on. So with the longer titles, you're able to paste a longer block of text and have it formatted to fit the screen. That's a real time saver. I haven't had to use the return in this situation. Plus it will scroll down the words rather than entering as a solid block of text. So that looks much nicer too. Another benefit of this title is that when you go to the inspector and you look at the text field, you can select that and drag it down so you can see more of the text. The next category is lower thirds, and I've put a couple of those into the timeline for you to see. This one has a logo attached to it, and again you would need to turn off the transparent logo and make sure that the drop zone is then available to you. Select the drop zone, find the Final Cut logo, apply that. Now let's have a look at a really exciting category, and that's the typography titles. And these would be ideal to use as an opener for a company video, as well as introduce a new segment of a video. I've added that logo. And these use their own backgrounds, so these are built into the title themselves, though you can, in this case, add a transparent looking image as a logo in the background image, and you turn that on and off here for the background drop zone. The test logo will be turned on by default, and you need to turn that off to be able to add a logo or an image in this drop zone. And there's even a title here that would be good as an intro for a book or for a software package video, which allows you to put your own images in the front panel, the left and the right panels. And these drop zones need to be turned on in the inspector, and you can see currently the sample logo is turned on there. Each of those would need to be turned off for you to be able to add your own images in these drop zones. The next category is called callouts. Now a callout is an object that will direct your eye to a certain part of the screen. So this one is directing to that part of the screen, this one here to that part of the screen, I've produced one in the timeline here, and let's just play that so you can see the effect. The callouts themselves are static, but you can use keyframes to make them move like this one does here. And there are also several that will have scrolling numbers that will build up for you. And then there are the Stomp, the social media, and the icon categories. I've collected all of these together because they're all one message quick action tests. And these will allow you to quickly adjust to suit your promotion or your advertisement. And don't forget, you can stack a number of these together so they all show on the screen at the same time. And finally, I want to show you another one of the most interesting categories. These will allow you to put full messages to viewers in as short a time as possible, as quick as a wink. These are the logo stings, and the adjustments are similar in the inspector to the previous categories, but watch out how to get the logo to show, because by default it will be showing the sample logo, and so you need to change that to drop zone, because if it's on sample then you'll see that default logo. You're also able to change the background to have a drop zone, or a gradient, or none, so that it's transparent, or solid so that you have the solid colour behind there. I haven't particularly mentioned the animated backgrounds that come with the collection because these tend to be very bright and they can be a little bit distracting, I think. So I've got a couple of tips that will help you with this. You could use a Gaussian blur to simply soften that background. The more blur you put on, the less the detail you'll see. That's the full detail of that particular background. We can soften that a little. And the other thing to do with it is that if you make a compound clip out of it, and if we slow down that clip now, and now play it through, there's very little movement in the background, which makes it less distracting. So after seeing all of these, if you're still unsure about these titles, there's a free sample pack for you to download, and the link is in the description below. And if all of that's not enough for you, then there's a link in the description below that will be very helpful for content creators. You can buy a subscription license to get access to millions of creative assets, from graphic to video, to web templates and music tracks, stock photos, all from $16.50 a month. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell.